Happy holidays, guys. Dr. Pete here. I've been off for a little bit of time, but now I'm back. I've been really busy working on some other awesome projects, stuff I'll share with you in the future. But today I wanted to talk a little bit about something that affected me personally just recently, and perhaps you as well. So I want to spend some time talking about it, about 5 minutes. But roll them first. So the two words that I want to talk to you today about are called emotional winter. And not because we're in the winter months. I mean, let's face it, we are in the winter months, but that's not why I did this. It's a reminder that sometimes the winter can be overwhelming. It can be dark and cold, and we can feel depressed and overwhelmed. Not from the winter though, but from just life. So it's difficult at times to get out of bed and just get up and go to work. It's difficult to know whether your spouse is cheating on you or your finances are okay, or if you've got cancer growing in your body. Man, life is this up and down like sinusoid. It's like 1 minute you're up and you feel amazing, next minute you're down and you feel depressed and overwhelmed. This is what life is. You better get used to this. It's going to continue for a very long time until you take your last breath. The key is this though. These emotional swings and moods that come and go, they do just that. They're like the tides. They ebb and they flow. They come and they go. The thing that people need to remember, and I hope you hear me on this, don't make any rash choices and decisions in your life when you're feeling overwhelmed emotionally because something's off in your life. That's emotional winter. It's cold and dark. But like anything else, think about the winter months. They give way to spring months, right? And then the summertime. So the coldness and the pain, it thaws out over time. We can feel good about ourselves again. And sometimes we have to remember, just be quiet. You might want to say something because you're angry and frustrated with the mood that you're in, but if you remain silent, it can't be misquoted. Have you ever sat down and sent an email to somebody, or just about to send an email, then you didn't, and the next day they called you and said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I haven't gotten back to you in a while. I've been so busy. My mom has been sick, and my dad, is struggling hard with mom's illness." Then you go, "Oh, good thing I didn't say anything because I was feeling a certain way." I think we all feel this way once in a while, that things aren't going well for us, and around us it's a complete poop show, and it's like, what am I going to do? Just hang in there. Emotional winters disappear at some point. Now that can be quick or it could take a while. And I want to give you an example. I went through a little emotional winter recently, but I knew I was in one, so it was easier to know that it would thaw and that I would come out on the other side. And most of the time when you're in some emotional imbalance, when you come out the other side, you would have learned something pretty powerful about yourself and about life. That's what makes gray beards kind of distinguished. We have things within us that we've lived through and we understand. So a few months back, I'm married with kids. I got a wonderful wife, Lisa, and 2 kids, Angelina and Lorenzo, and my life is great. But in any marriage, things can kind of have a need to communicate again and rehash things out to find out where we're going, where we're navigating our ship. So we each have roles, in relationships, and my wife's role and my role are a little different. Yet together, collectively, we can really make it go. Well, I had felt a few months ago that my role was a little overwhelming and I wasn't getting help and feedback that I thought that I either deserved or that should be there. Now, it wasn't anything to do with my wife, but it was how I was feeling about it. So I decided to get quiet and just reflect on it. And then I started to realize that, wow, there's a weird pattern and it keeps developing over and over and over, recycling itself. And I wanted to change that pattern. So I got quiet and I drove a wedge into my relationship because we stopped communicating because of my quietness. And in that quietness, I was stuck inside of the proverbial emotional winter. Was it bad? It didn't feel good, but I learned something. I went almost 8 weeks not being me, not being Dr. P, not being the man that I wanted to be. You didn't even see videos of me during that time because I was not inspired either. The inspiration is my relationship with my beautiful wife and the time that we spend together and how much we care and love for each other. But during the emotional winter that I was experiencing, I lost my capacity during that time to be able to grow and to move forward. Part of me was like, maybe I should just get rid of this whole thing. But then I reminded myself of things that I've learned in my lifetime, that in relationships, whether they're platonic or intimate, like me and my wife, they go up and they go down at times. You're just gonna have to learn to hang in there long enough and find a way to communicate what you want out of a situation and then put it out there. But the thing that I was struggling with was the pattern that I saw in our relationship. It just keeps going, and every once in a while, the ugliness of the pattern shows itself. And I wanted to try to change it by simply letting her experience the pain that I was experiencing. Well, that was stupid. I'm not here to change my beautiful wife. That's impossible. And she's not going to change me. The only thing that I could possibly change was my perspective. That's what I needed to change. I knew it. And in the end, I finally took a deep breath, sat down with her and said, can we talk? And I let her talk first, and she spoke for 20 minutes or so about how she saw me, how she saw our lives, and what she was experiencing. And I have to tell you guys, it was completely different than what I was feeling. I thought that she knew what I felt and that she purposefully wasn't communicating with me to inflict some sort of pain. But that was bogus, it was dumb, it wasn't true at all. And when we finally sat down, she said, Pete, I see it like this. And I said, Lisa, well, I see it like this. And we both sat back and said, wow, we're not communicating very well. Just when you think you're doing a great job, you're not. I'm like, wow, that stinks. So I said, listen, can we move forward now that we both know what we both want and that we can just love and care for each other? She said, okay. And I said, oh, good. And what happened right away? Connection started to develop. It was actually kind of fun. I felt like I was back in high school again, dating somebody for the first time. You know, you don't immediately get back into the same routine. It takes a little bit of time. You have to spend a little bit more time warming up after the emotional winter has basically just turned into spring. So give it a little bit of time and realize that you're never going to figure everything out about life. Life is always going to be difficult, and whenever there's a high, there's going to be a low. There has to be. You can't be depressed your whole life because you don't know what depression is unless you have happiness. So people who are depressed are simply devoid of happiness. People who are totally happy are devoid of depression. You can't be one without the other. They have to exist in harmony together. Now, I want to feel happy every day of my life, outside of the emotional winter. But I'm not foolish now. At 54, come this Sunday, my birthday coming up. Thank you. Happy birthday to me. Just saying. That I have to realize something. That I don't have all the answers. That life continues to evolve. But if I and you have any chance of getting through our emotional winters, then we have to define what we want, what we're not getting, and we have to be able to speak it to somebody that's either within our ability to heal it or somebody that's causing it or perpetuating it. You've got to learn to communicate what you want. When it came to me and Lise, I knew what I wanted. I was frustrated. I spoke about it with her, but I waited 2 months to get there. 2 ugly months, just long enough to grow a beard and long enough to feel the pain that I thought that I was going to give to her. I actually was the one feeling all the pain. And not for nothing, I needed to feel that pain because it gave me a greater perspective about the wonderful relationship that I have and how important it is, and that to lose it would be the worst option imaginable. But while I was in the emotional winter, I was thinking maybe that's exactly what I need. That's what I want you to know today. When you're in emotional winter, please don't make any rash choices and decisions. Hang in there. Decide what it is that you want. Start working on it slowly. Work on yourself rather than making other people make you happy. Get yourself happier and find a way to make it happen. And in time, you'll notice, wow, I'm actually feeling better. I'm going to the gym now. I'm eating better. I'm sleeping better. I'm doing the things that I wanted because the pain of emotional winter, like anything else, it doesn't last forever. It's just a time to help you to learn, to grow, and to get over things that you really needed to learn about in order to become the best that you possibly could be. So that's what I got for you today. Just hang in there, kids. Hang in there long enough to get past these ugly moments, knowing that the sun will shine again and you'll be fine. But if you don't communicate, it's going to be a longer road than you can imagine. Listen, if you liked today, throw a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe, I would love to have you. I want to say personally, thank you to everyone in the last couple of months when I haven't been posting. I've been watching more and more people subscribing to my channel, so it must mean that my motivational and inspirational messages are hitting the mark. The last thing I want to say is, well, two things. I want to say I love you to my beautiful wife, and thank you for helping me to get through my emotional winter. And number two, I recently spent some time with a close friend of mine, Jody. And Jody, if you're watching, thank you so much a couple weeks ago for coming over to Hudson, coming up from Carolina to Massachusetts, and to spend some time to see me. Those 6 hours we spent together meant a whole lot to me. I had an opportunity to spend time with you discussing things that I'm not the best at, and getting your perspective, your intellectualism, your friendship meant the world to me. So thank you very much as well. During this holiday season, I hope you get everything you want, and more than anything else, give of yourself, give love to other people, and watch it come back to you. Look forward to talking to you guys next week. Dr. Pete, I'm out.